Hey guys, good morning. I believe you're really good devs. You can write some smart contracts, you can make some front end for your app, but what would you do when it comes to index events, for example, to keep the state of the previous blocks? So you get smart contracts, you get front end, and the last, probably missing part, the thing about you didn't think, is indexing tool. You need that to create a full stack application actually. What tool to use? And I believe the first thing you think about is SUBGRAPHS. But this episode is not about the graph. So there is many other tools for indexing out there, and my favorite one is Ponder. If you go to Ponder website, you see that's the full stack framework for Web3 applications. But for me, it's just a indexing tool. You can extend your Ponder instance to be a really your backend, because Ponder is built on the top of Hono, which is Node.js framework for building backends. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so there is really simple HONO server under the hood, and you can turn on either GraphQL. It's really helpful for development purposes, but for production I prefer to use REST API. And there is Drizzle ORM already installed in the Ponder instance, so you don't need to write any SQL by hand. So if you talk about ORMs, you think about database, but you don't need to run a database container on your computer. You can run it locally in your repo as a local file storage. It's completely enough for bootstrapping, for prototyping, and putting that everything what I mentioned all together. You get really solid framework which is type safe, written in TypeScript. There is type safety at any step in your application. So, and I tell you guys, it's really simple. Everything you have to have is smart contract address, it's ABI, and you also need to know what events you want to listen to. That's everything. That's everything you need for bootstrapping. You set up that configuration in the single file and you run it, and it works. And then the first step is collecting any historical data. You can provide the block number you want to start indexing from. And the second step is listening for upcoming events. So when the app is running on production, and the final step is just it listen to upcoming events and putting that events into your database in real time. That's awesome. And I know you asking about what about migrations, and there are no migrations. Actually, there are migrations, but Ponder is able to do that for you automatically. Yes, there is some magic behind that. You only need to provide a unique ID of your, let's say, your migration, but it can be your just commit hash. And based on that, Ponder knows that it has to build another migration in some magic way, and it works. If you know what the magic is in there, you should read the documentation and source code. So I encourage you to do that if you want to do the deep dive into details, but I can't do that in this episode. And you can also think about that like having an input and output. It's nothing special, I know, but the input, where's the input? Input is when you're streaming upcoming events into your database, and you can process that events. You can have a function would do math with the data coming from events, and you can put it in your database in the final form, the form you expect to have as your application state. So you don't need to have every single event in your database. You can process that on the fly when events is coming, and store only the needed data of your choice. And there is an output side. Output is when you stream your data to other frontends, other backends via REST API. That's the way I recommend to use. And that's pretty much Ponder. So if you're done with complexity of other solutions like the graph, which is meant to be really decentralized way to provide historical data from blockchain, because blockchain is really is great, it's cool, you can query whatever data you need, but it's slow when you want that feature in real time. Asking for data from aggregated data from the whole timeline. Starting point is when the contract is deployed, and the endpoint is right now, and you want to know what is the, let's say, average price. You're not able to do that without collecting all this data between those 2 points from that range. You're not able to do that. You have to store all the needed events that have impact on your final result, and that's it. I don't need decentralizations, I don't need tokens, I don't need economy around that. That's it. So if you like this show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you have any question. Goodbye.